Braj Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamunatiravanachari. Yamunatiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Srila, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhu. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. So, today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Don't need. As you like. I have there. Let's have a, how to say, hard copy. Okay. We continue to read from Renunciation of Kadamani. That is chapter 24, canto 3. And text is 31, right? Who said that?
Let me guess, on the planet 31?
It's always like we with me, you know.
No, with everybody telling me like this week.
Why it's like 32.
You can do 31 Prabhu.
Oh, Krishna. Well, it's 32, then 32. I have to do 32. I haven't trained for the Sanskrit, so sorry. Okay, let's first pray for the blessings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That would be interesting, you know. I put someone cook breakfast, but actually has to cook lunch. You know? You do the morning service, no, but actually have to do lunch. Yeah, interesting. Tam suribhistatva bhubhutasya dha. Tvam suribhistatva bhubhutasya dha. Sadha bhivadhana padapitham. Sadha bhivadhana padapitham. Aishvarya vairagya yasho vabodha. Aishvarya vairagya yasho vabodha. Viryashya purtam aham prapadye. Tvam suribhistatva bubhutsayatha. Sadha bhivadarhana padapitham. Aishvarya vairagya yasho vabodha. Viryashya purtam aham prapadye. Absurdistatva bubhutsayada. Sadha vibhadharana padapitam. Shvaira vairagya shova buddha. Yashya purtam prapadye. This Tvam surabhi tattva bubutsayada Tvam, unto you, Suribhi, by the great sages, Tattva, the absolute truth, Bubutsaya, with desire to understand, Adha, certainly, Sada, always, Abhivada, of worshipful respects, Arahana, which are worthy, Pada, of your feet, Pitam, to the seat, Aishwarya, opulence, Vairagya, renunciation, Yasha, fame, Abuddha, knowledge, Virya, strength, Shriya, with beauty, Purtam, who are full, Aham, I, Prapadye, surrender. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are reservoir of that always deserves to receive worshipful homage from all the great sages, eager to understand the absolute truth. You are full of opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. And therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Purport. Actually, those who are searching after absolute truth must take shelter of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship Him. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advised Arjuna many times to surrender unto Him, especially at the end of 9th chapter. Man manabhava man bhakta. If you want to be perfect, just always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your obeisances to me. In this way you will understand me, the personality of Godhead, and ultimately you will come back to me, back to Godhead, back home. Why it is so? The Lord is always full in 6 opulences as mentioned herein. Wealth, renunciation, fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. The word purta means in full. No one can claim that all the wealth belongs to him, but Krishna can claim it since he has full wealth. Similarly, he is full in knowledge, renunciation, strength, and beauty. He is full in everything, and no one can surpass him. Another one, Krishna's name is Asamaurdva, which means that there is no one equal or greater than him. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. his opulences, Krishna's opulences, are seen all around us, and due to our lack of education, I would say, we are claiming this to be mine. I'm beautiful. Is it true? You look at the mirror, are you beautiful? No? Yes, no? What do you think about yourself? Ladies definitely do that. They are approached, oh beautiful, Shriya, the fair sex, And some of the devotees, well, most of the devotees, they are looking nice, except those sages who are really performing austerity. They are, as mentioned even here in the chapter earlier, even the wife of Kardama Muni, she completely rejected the caring about her beauty. So, what's the point? If nobody is looking after that, so no need. It's extra waste of time. Just imagine, maybe devotee Mataji is not so much, but if you are proper high society woman, you spend a couple hours to just making makeup. And what are you thinking about? You're thinking, I'm so beautiful. You put some color on your face and you become more beautiful, and you think, that's me. That makeup is me. I'm beautiful. You take makeup off, especially you wake up the next morning, your face. So where's the beauty gone? But it's true. Just by taking a shower, we become more beautiful. It's true. You become refreshed. Bashar Prabhu yesterday was giving class about cold showers. How you become more beautiful by taking showers. So, Lord has very, very much opulences, and He's willing and He's happy to show those opulences to us. I was kind of a little bit more into the mood of different incarnations which were described in the last verse, which said that you have very, very much different kinds of forms, innumerable forms, transcendental forms, and they are pleasing to the Lord. So Krishna is willing to please devotees by appearing in different ways. So, of course, He has original spiritual form, unless, of course, we don't actually believe that there is some kind of Lord. Anybody has the doubts that there is a Lord somewhere? Some supreme? You have, me have too. How you can believe something which you never seen? You never seen. Just imagine you work for a month and you don't see your wage. Your salary doesn't come. You work for 2-3 months, it doesn't come. You work for 30 years and nothing comes. Somebody promised me that you will see Krishna. In few years. Actually, there is mentioned who was Dhruva Maharaj. He was pretty fast. Well, we have opposite example of Hiranyakashipu. How much endeavor he had to make to see the Lord. Who remembers how many years? Thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. I think he was standing like 40,000 years with raised arms, until his whole body was completely eaten by ants. Skin, muscles, just bones left. Oh, that's Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, if you are still able to keep your bones together, you are still alive. It's described, every yuga has different type of conditions which you have to fulfill. And Treta Yoga, you have to have some muscles. You know. And Dvapara Yoga, you have to have a skin. And Kali Yoga, you have to have some prasada. Otherwise you die. It's true. So each yoga has like minimum requirements to go on with your austerities. So yes, Hiranyakashipu was extremely austere, and he could maintain his body just because there was bones together. Krishna. Yeah. And therefore, we are doing some austerities. Krishna advises us to do some kind of austerity. And Srimad Bhagavatam explains also that there is quite a bit of endeavor going on, starting from Brahma, creator of the universe. He is really praying for Lord. Please, please, please give me your power, give me your knowledge, give me ability to create, but after all, also give me ability to remember while I'm doing the whole thing. Because otherwise I will get bewildered. I'm kind of doing your job, but I'm getting bewildered. So what's the point? Somebody asks us to drive to Passau, and then on the way you lose your ability to navigate. And you end up in Austria, or Czech Republic. So what's the point? You didn't fulfill your destiny, your duty, what it was you were asked to do. Basically, it is true that Brahma was asked to create and the universe as such, and planetary systems and living beings, but ultimate goal is to remember Krishna and go back to him. Even after such a long lifetime as Brahma. So if you do the creation but you fail to go back to him, so what's the point? You become Brahma again, you create again. If there was not enough creation going on, every day of Brahma you have to recreate the whole stuff. If you are kind of in a desire of creation, then here you go. Cooking breakfast or dressing deities is nothing. Recreating every morning whole universe with whole planets and whole demigods and everything. Just wake up and okay, creation come. And not like this day you are resting. You're only cooking lunch. No, every morning wake up, create whole universe again. And that's how many days, how many years, and every day. Who can calculate how many creations of full every day? That's 360 days. And multiplied by 100 years. It's quite a bit of creations. We think, our creation, according to our time limit, it's so little. No. But yes, the Srimad Bhagavatam has many, many subjects, and I just somehow stumbled upon the 10 main themes of Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are one of them discussing today. And first of all, the first is Sarga, the creation of Vishnu, original creation, which based on this Brahma creates. The secondary creation is Brahma's creation. Then when everything is created, then the third one is sthana, maintenance universe. You have to maintain the whole thing. And when there is maintenance happening, there is 4 poshana. You create and you care and protect those who are in the universe. And then, of course, there is subject of urge or the power of creation, why it's happening. And then there's as a part of great Purana, has to be described every Manvantara, how it's happening. Then there's a special sweetness in the Srimad Bhagavatam. 7 is Ishana Kunaha, spiritual information regarding all the pastimes, has to be. Then comes the ending part, Nirodha, winding up all the creation, how everything is just as a tortoise, you fill up your legs back to yourself. Ninth process is mukti, liberation. And of course, everything which is expanded, all 9 subjects from the main one, it is ashraya, the ultimate shelter, ultimate source of everything, samam bonam, which is 10 canto mostly. But actually, every of those 10 subjects are described in every part of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are discussing today that how Kardama Muni is praising Lord, and particularly devotees, since Lord and devotees are kind of inseparable. Many times Prabhupada in commentaries say, when we say Krishna, we mean Krishna and his incarnations, and his nature, and living beings as well. So both, you can refer to Krishna as original personality, which is described in a few main verses. It's called Paribhasa Sutra. The main sutra, the quintessence of Srimad Bhagavatam. You heard something like that? Paribhasa Sutra. Which one is Paribhasa Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam? Ete chamsha kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam. So all these previous mentioned, because in the first canto, actually I think it's the 3rd chapter, this described quite a bit of incarnations of Lord. And described one, and one of them, and not the first or last one, is Krishna mentioned in Balaram. Interesting, right? But after that, the final conclusion is Ete chamsha kalapa. All them are different parts and particles and expansions of Lord. Krishna is an original form. So this is the main subject theme of all Srimad Bhagavatam. How to prove that Krishna is supreme, he is the original source of everything, and of course describing him from all different aspects. And one of the aspects which are most close to us, because we are living here in this world, is a creation. So the first subject mentioned was here, Sarga Visarga, the original creation and secondary creation. Krishna, he has idea. He has a quite clear idea what he wants from material creation. But also then he empowers all the other incarnations to do the job, to do the expansion and purification and preaching and everything. And Srimad Bhagavatam is putting quite a bit of length. Like compared to the whole scripture, there's 9 cantos, before 10th, which is completely dedicated to Krishna. So therefore, all these incarnations are kind of coming and going, although we in current life haven't experienced much. Recent, even Chaitanya's incarnation is, according to our lives, it's 500 years. It's quite a long time ago. When we study the Middle Ages, that's so long time. Yeah. Our frame, our lifetime is very, very short, so sometimes it's not easy to to grasp all these incarnations. But Krishna is very willing. In the previous verse, it is said that he is willing, he is happy to do all the incarnations just to please. And it's so interesting that it's mentioned that he has multiple forms for multi-forms for multi-devotees. Multi-forms, so many forms of devotees. So Kardama Muni here currently is praising that besides that there is many forms, there is the original personality who has all the opulences in him. So one of the opulences definitely somehow is appealing to us. Each of us are kind of valuing something in our lives which we are striving for. We have to admit we are not really into the serving Lord at all. Or you are. This is your main drive of your life. Mostly not. We were discussing yesterday a little bit of heavenly planets and what the demigods are up to, and they are so-called karma yogis, right? Karma yogis. They also strive for the wealth. It is said that you can judge intentions by the result. If you are striving for wealth, then Krishna finally gives you wealth. You have to be qualified, of course, but if you are ending up in such a wealthy situation, that means you were endeavoring that for. So look at us here too. We cannot say we endeavored for the being poor as we are compared to demigods, but there's two things: one you endeavor for and one you are qualified for. So demigods are qualified for to rule the universe, to look after the universe. And even it is said that out of guna avatars, there's 3 guna avatars, sattva guna, raja guna, and tama guna. Each of them are, one is destroying, one is maintaining, one is creating. So Vishnu is maintaining. But it's a little bit contradictory, since we understand that Vishnu is transcendental goodness, not just goodness, transcendental goodness. He would never act or interact anything material. So for him, maintaining that means interacting with your world. It's not really happening. Actually, he is maintaining the whole universe through the demigods, through the media of his devotees, of empowered devotees. He empowers himself. Devotees. There's many avatars, Shakti Avesh avatars, empowered Yuga avatars. There's different incarnations, and each of them are fulfilled. He don't have to do anything. So I think it was once Prabhupada mentioned that how we can understand that Krishna is supreme. That he doesn't have to do anything. He just sits around in a forest and plays flute. All other stuff is done by everybody else, starting from Balaram, starting from all the incarnations which are. And they have opulences. So this is 2 lines actually. Interesting that each incarnation or expansion of Lord, which comes with certain reason and necessity, also has provided all the energy with him. Like, great company who are value the some VIP customer manager. They provide everything. Provide the car, provide the salary, provide the hotels, provide everything needed. There's no scarcity of funds if you want to expand your business. And Krishna also, he never restricts the funds or energy to one who is actually willing to do that in proper way, with proper mood and attitude. Prabhupada is one of the probably best examples in Acharya's recent times, how he was provided with such a much help, funds and everything to spread Krishna consciousness. When the Bhagavad Gita, the big print of Bhagavad Gita was there, it was amazing. It was like, I can't remember, 18 train carriages. Just one train carriage is like 12 meters, a big one. 18 of those were just full with the paper to print 1 million copies of Bhagavad Gita. That was available for him. So if Krishna wants to spread his glories and glories of the devotees, he will never limited in funds. So if we are valuing some of the energies or austerity or as mentioned here, all 6 of them, Krishna, knowledge, strength, beauty, all these things will be available in any time if we are maintaining the proper goal and proper mood of serving Krishna. And Kardama Muni is praising, yes. These are the worshipful devotees. They are always serving your lotus feet, so it's impossible to in any ways overprice them. So there is a question of those things, how we actually can see the manifestations of Lord. He is manifesting in different ways. Of course, as I said, there's Paribhasa Sutra, Eshe Chamsha Kulapamsha. There's other one from Brahma Samhita, Krishna's tu Bhagavan. Krishna. What's the verse of Brahma Samhita? Ishvara Brahma Krishna, Sachitananda Vigraha. Anadiradi Gunavira. So these are two main verses which give. So if we are looking for that original form of Lord, we have to have a, first of all, understanding of those things, why we actually study the scriptures. Because we want to go back to Him, back to Krishna. So meanwhile, while we are bewildered by the material creation, then we have to study how Krishna expands in that. So who knows which part of Krishna's expansions and manifestations are related to creation, how they call, which avatars? Purusha avatars. So Purusha avatars are the main three ones, the Garbhodakashaya, Kshiyadakashaya, and Karandakashaya. Yeah, that was the first, right? So these are actually only those expansions, manifestations, avatars, which are related to creation as such. But there is much more. There's much more. Original, first of all, the Krishna's. Okay, where is that? Krishna's personal form is Swayam, personal form. It's a form which Krishna has in the Vrindavan, in himself. And then there is manifestations of him which are exactly copies. No difference at all. Who knows those ones? Shyamasundari, yeah, that's original Krishna's form, bluish form with the flute. So there is expansion of him which are exactly copies of him. Who knows? I know 3 cases. Yes, perfect. Another one? Dwarka also. He expanded in all the thousands of queen palaces. And one more is pretty rare, but also mentioned when he was, just before Brahma was stealing the cowherd boys, they were having lunch. And Krishna, interesting enough, it also can be said it's a kind of illusion, a little bit made by Krishna's potency, but Krishna was sitting in front of each of the cowherd boys as well. So they're having exchange. Some say, Vishwanath Chakravarti says that he was sitting in the center and everybody felt that he's facing him. Although he was facing every direction. But other places said he was sitting in front of each other. So if there's cowherd boy with his lunch box, so Krishna was here. So they're having exchange. Take this one, I will give you that one, and like this. And there was innumerable quantities. I don't know how much was there. It's quite a bit. It's full Vrindavan, actually full Vrindavan. All the cowherd boys were there in the lunch time with him, and they were stolen. And what happened? There's one more expansion, but of course this one is a little bit different because that expansion was not exactly same. He matched all the qualities, all the behavior, all the looks of all cowherd boys. He just copied it, just like that. He copied everything. So it's also Krishna's expansion. And amazingly enough, that year all the cowherd boys got married. Because there was supposed to be. There was worldly pastime and all the gopis were praising and asking Krishna to become a husband. And said, okay, I'll do that. I'll find a way. So he expanded himself as all the cowherd boys, and that year everybody got married. So such a way all the girls, they got Krishna as husband, They didn't know, but actually it was Krishna. So later on, they got real husbands back. Krishna, after 1 year, he drove back. still the pastime is there. So these are the forms which I know which are exactly the same. Then there is a form which is as little bit quite similar, but not as perfectly. It's just some little bit difference. That's Balaram. That's his only expansion which takes care of all the rest of it. So Balaram is almost like Krishna, but a little bit different color, different mood. So from him comes all the rest of it. So basically, all the other things like creation, avatars, everything comes from Balaram, not from. For him, even more, all the Vrindavan expansion as such, as Vilas, is that it's for Chaturvyuha. Chaturvyuha is, to say in short, well, Sankarsana is, Mahasankarsana also. He is expanding the situation, environment. So that's Balaram. He expanded also the intentions, moods, Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna. All these things are necessary to all the things happen in Vrindavan. So that's Balaram's. Krishna did not even do that. And then after that, of course, because of creation, we already talked, there's Purushat avatars, there's other Lila avatars. Who knows some Lila avatars? Matsya, Kurma, Ramachandra, Nrsimha, Varaha, Vamana, all these are Lila, for special pastimes. Although out of them two are mentioned extremely separate position. There is Nrsimha first of all and Ramachandra. So they are Paramvastu, they are very, very practically same as Krishna. But they don't exhibit all those opulences which are here, mentioned 6 opulences. But for example, I know we can mention Vamana. He was exhibiting the quality of beauty. Right? He was so beautiful. Of course, there is one more incarnation of beauty, most in female form. Who knows that one? Mohini. She was extremely beautiful. And if Krishna makes beautiful, he knows how to do that. Everybody was attracted, and she was so much attracted, even in front of her wife. He was shamefully, defeated by the beauty. But he didn't feel ashamed. He said, he understood. Yeah, that's my Lord Krishna. I'm fine. I'm attracted to him, whatever form he comes. So for us, it's so difficult to understand that the Krishna has one form. At the same time, he has many, many forms. One time, Brahma was confused, and he was asking, "Please, show me your beautiful form." And we have a short darshan, very short darshan. Please explain how it's possible. Although you kind of expand in the material world in those forms, they must be material, but sages say, and you yourself explain, you don't have material form. So for us, how we understand what is spiritual form? What if we see something, is it spiritual or material? Our forms are spiritual or material? Where we draw the line? It's not easy to understand. Since, Shastras say we are part of this marginal potency. But marginal potency is quite a strong thing as such, because one of the main potencies is marginal potency. So that marginal potency is able to manifest, for example, the holy Dham, the Vrindavan in the material world. It is possible to see it because of this marginal potency. One of the many amazing potencies, and some of them are just, what's the word? Contradictory and incomprehensible. We cannot understand. There was the English word for that I was looking for. I can't remember. So all these potencies, and marginal potencies is like this. You know, you are sitting here in India, and then there's a whole spiritual abode there. And it said Vrindavan consists, it actually contains all the spiritual planets of the spiritual world. And we can say from the scripture that spiritual world is unlimited. At the same time, it's kind of 64 these square miles. So for us, it's inconceivable. Inconceivable, that was the word. Inconceivable for us, because our mind is just one particle of material energy. And that how that can absorb or understand the spiritual thing. But at the same time, Krishna says, Bhaktya Mam api janati. If you want, if you want to understand, then you perform devotional service. And that mood of devotional service, he'll be revealed all things necessary and even more. But for those things to happen, there is one important particle of that thing, which I'll find out here. It comes. It comes to the question why we are studying the scriptures as such. One quote from second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 9. Lord Brahma once said, "O personality of Godhead, you are he explains his vision, his understanding. You are situated in every living being's heart as Supreme Director, and therefore you are aware of all endeavors by your superior intelligence without any hindrance whatsoever." So he kind of praises the Lord because he has his own agenda, his own desires and own mission to fulfill, and therefore he says, you know, you're sitting in everyone's heart. You know what I want to do and what's my conditions, so please understand that you are the all visionary and all omnipotent person. In spite of that, I'm praying to you, kindly fulfill my desire. So he's just one point of saying, Krishna, you sit in my heart. You know my heart better than anyone. So what's the point of asking? But there's we talked yesterday, there's an external culture how you fulfill. You know desire. You know desires of your kids, what they want in a birthday. So you maybe make surprise, but sometimes there is an interaction which has to be done before. So he understands and he says and praises the Lord, yes, you are in my heart, but still I'm asking, please fulfill my desire. May I please be informed how, in spite of your transcendental form, you assume mundane form, although you don't have such at all. So please explain me how. And why he is asking those things? Because he is kind of in duality. There's a material form, there's spiritual form. How you do it, everything, I don't know. How you, by your own self, manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance and maintenance of combination and permutation. This is such a complicated words which are deserving to be Brahman. O master of all energies, please tell me about all these energies. You play like a spider that covers itself in its own energy, and your determination is infallible. So he understands that he will not be able to see Lord as much as possible or anything more than Krishna allows. So he's a spider, you know, a spider, when he catches the small, whatever insects is there, in one corner, he makes a home and he hides there. And you cannot see. You cannot see the spider. Only when something happens, he reacts to that. So he is a Supreme Purusha. So when Prabhupada explains, when demigods get into trouble, they pray for help of Lord. They pray, okay, the fire of material existence is too hot, you know. Please help, extinguish them. Samsara Dhavana. The fire of material existence is also extinguished by spiritual master. So therefore he is praying. And why he's praying? The last verse from this passage. Please tell me so I may be taught in this matter by instructions of personality of Godhead, and thus act as instrument to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities. So he is actually very much of in the middle of action of creating the whole universe, but he's praying for the potency, for the strength, for the purity, not be bewildered by those activities. And therefore, the root word here, like a key word is, and thus act instrumentally. So if we are willing to act in our conditioned nature, at the same time trying to fulfill our duties, if we catch up and develop this mood of being instrument in the hands of Lord, then the goal which Brahma is trying to achieve is not being conditioned, not being bewildered by those things. Because after all, Bhagavad Gita says, those who are bewildered, they think, kartaham iti manyate, I'm the doer. Basically, I'm the only doer. Because there's different courses. Prabhupada sometimes uses different words. There is a ultimate course, and there is effective course, there is material course, and ingredient course. Yeah. So 4 levels of courses. There's original Krishna, and then there's nature, elements, from which the materials, from the things can create. And then there's those who act, living beings. But after all, the Krishna is cause of them all. So therefore, if we are accepting this mood of being instruments or being external cause, the famous verse from Bhagavad Gita is Nimitta matram bhavya savasachan. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win the glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy the flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by arrangement, and you, O Savyasachin, Arjuna, can be put in instrument. Can be put an instrument in the fight. Maybe I misspelled it, but yeah. So he's asking, please be instrument. There's one more thing. When Uddhava is instructing, there was fighting between the Bhima and Jarasandha, and he was also kind of inspired before this fight, and he was saying that you will be acting as an instrument in the hands of Lord, destroying Jarasandha. So this is the main thing which, although being completely absorbed in those opulences of Lord, if we keep the mood of being instrument and not only or higher doer or doing that for ourselves, then we can be acting even in this world and not being conditioned or bewildered by these activities. So this is the main theme of the Srimad Bhagavatam, of taking shelter of Lord, understanding there's hundreds and millions and uncountable incarnations of Lord, and they are all meant to please the devotees and interact with Lord devotees on their levels of devotion and surrendering. At the same time, that interaction has to come to the concluding end of going back to Krishna's spiritual abode, which we are here assembled today to make one step closer to that. Any questions or comments on that, please? can see the Lord. Advaitam achyutam anadiranda rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayam Vancha. Vedesha Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. Even with the Vedas, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, quoted, actually Brahma Samhita quoted. Lord Govinda, who I worship, original personality of Godhead, he is non-different from his plenary expansions also. Who is inaccessible to the Vedas. The Vedas are Vito went away. We were discussing yesterday what he was asking me, how to remember things what you read. And I said, where is the limit? Same like with the money, for example. How much is money is enough money? How much is enough remembering? Just imagine, for example, by just immense Krishna's mercy, we would remember all Srimad Bhagavatam. Would that be enough? When is enough? How much remembering is enough? So, same thing, Vedas, there is a whole chapter called Prayers by Personified Vedas, in the end of 86th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. And they are praying. Still, there was some agamas, special Vedas, which were just smiling and saying, okay, you're discussing such a high subject, but there's more and more secret stuff. So, when you say Krishna is accessible, he is only accessible as much as he wants to reveal. So Vedas, even Vedas don't know. Yeah? When we talk about Chaitanya's incarnation as such, there's practically nothing. Vedas are hiding. Vedas are hiding appearance of Chaitanya. But he reveals himself. At the same time, yes, it is inaccessible, but it is obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion. So this attitude, both two things, attitude or mood and activity, both things are required. So in such a way, you are first of all revealed real nature of Lord. And second of all, you take part in the pastimes. So when Krishna was himself, was a personal Swayam Rupa Bhagavan, or Chaitanya, or whatever other incarnation comes and appears for the pastimes, he invites the devotees. And we hope we are invited as well one day. But then there has to be those two things. The proper mood, attitude of service, and also the practical thing to do something. So, if somebody invites you, you want to cook breakfast? And you said, no, I cannot. Okay, sorry. Then you don't cook. So, Krishna invites through the devotees, can you do this service? Sure, no problem. You just try, straight away. You never reject any service. So, first of all, we understand that no one will come to us with any request, any service, unless Krishna allows them. That is basic understanding. No hair moves in this universe without Krishna's permission. So if somebody comes us and asks, well, Prabhuji, can you do this? So that means he had desire, finding someone, and then he put desire to the decision of Krishna, and then Krishna provided him energy and provided intelligence to whom to go. So this is the proper vision which we are supposed to get from Srimad Bhagavatam, from pure devotees, our spiritual masters, how things happen really. So this illusion with I'm kartaham iti manete, that I'm only doer. Another place in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, one who is not taking an account that there is more things, like first of all your desire, then there's a nature, there's a material energy, Then there's super soul inside. All these things that have to be taken account. When the car moves, we don't really understand how it moves, maybe most of us. We just put the pedal, but then goes leather, then goes gas, then goes engine, then goes this, then goes transmission. There's a whole system going on. But we just push one pedal to the floor and just goes. It has to be started. You can push pedal as much as you want. If you don't start engine before, that doesn't work. So there's a whole thing, how the things work, and we sometimes endeavor, and well, our material endeavor it is, but unintelligently doing something which is contrary to Krishna's energy will not give us result. That's even just the material energy. What about spiritual energy, which is three quarters of Krishna's potency? Material energy is just one part of it. So if you want to interact and know those things, we learn them from pure devotees, how they achieve success. Not materially, spiritually. So from their mood, from their understanding, which is collected in beautiful stories and scriptures in Srimad Bhagavatam, each of these stories are amazing. So we learn. Kardama is praying this way. He's appreciating it this way. He sees all those energies and potencies being expanded. He doesn't see them as a material. Material cause means ingredient. We don't see the connection with the original creator. This is material world. How we see, what's the spiritual material? Material world means we see the ingredients. We don't see the source of them. So if each energy which comes up, which will be explained as a Sankhya Yoga, first of all, we divide all those energies to 24 and how they interact and how they create it, how they expand. But if we don't catch the point that the Krishna is the original source of all those things, then we lose the point. It's useless. You don't get spiritual benefit. You work. You don't get spiritual benefit. No. At the best, maybe you get material benefit. So Krishna consciousness means you do the same thing as you do according to your conditioned nature, but you keep in mind Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. He is original cause. So all the things which we see around us are connected to him and must be some reason. Yeah. And if we see that way, the duality of material world just goes away. There's no duality anymore, because duality means contradiction. If we see everybody's connection with Krishna, there's no duality anymore. There's no hot and cold. There's a warm and less warm. There's one quality just like this. There's no like hot and cold. Hot and cold compared to me, but that same cold shower we take, the poor ice bear in a zoo, he'll be happy having such a cold water, because for him, summertime somewhere in a German zoo is a terrible time for him to swim in the warm water, and his natural habitat is polar, all the time. Outside water -30, inside water it's warm, it's 0, it's warm for him. For us it's cold. So therefore duality will disappear if we connect that to Krishna. More questions? More answers? How we can see him. Okay, I finished on this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prahlad Lakshman Simhadev ki jai, Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Jai.